women's team pursuit. The final in the women's team pursuit will be between Canada, Laura Brown, Stephanie Rudra, and Tara Whitten, up against the United States of America, Dotsie Bausch, Sarah Hammer, a former world individual pursuit champion, and Lauren Tamaro. Tamayo.
This is actually really good for North America.
Isn't that good indeed?
Yeah, I'm sure. I know the Canadians do train down in Los Angeles, where the US program is based, purely for decent weather. But whether this has been a product of that, whether they've been able to train together or not, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's good to see Canada and US in the final here. Gold and silver.
Yeah, Laura Brown, Stephanie Ruda, and Tara Whitten for Canada, up against Dotsie Bausch, Sarah Hammer, and Lauren Tamayo of the United States of America. The experienced heads on both sides are Tara Whitten, the Canadian, and the great Sarah Hammer for the United States of America.
I've got a quick story about Sarah Hammer. When I was based out there as a sprinter and training out there, we actually used to use Sarah Hammer as the motorbike warm-up.
Really?
She would be doing her pursuit efforts, and we would basically just sit behind her for 40 laps. And it was quite amazing. I mean, I'm getting fatigued at the end of my warm-up, and there's Sarah just pumping around knocking these laps out. It's quite amazing. She's really got an engine on her. And yeah, she can really go. I tell you, it's quite impressive.
She's not the most stylish of riders.
No, but she
doesn't look like she's going quickly, but she does.
Yeah, she does. Trust me, I've been behind her for quite a few laps.
That's a great story. I like that. Yeah.
Who needs a motorbike for a warm-up?
Absolutely. Maybe we should get her out instead of the Derny or the cross.
She probably could do that. I tell you.
Brown, Ruder, and Whitten. Whitten we've already seen in the women's points race. It's then the final of the women's team pursuit here in Cali from the Track Cycling UCI World Cup Classics. It's Canada versus the United States of America. This is the trio that will try and win the gold medal. Former individual world pursuit champion Sarah Hammer in this group, wearing 2-2-2, along with Lauren Tamayo and Dotsie Bausch. The Canadians, Laura Brown, Stephanie Ruda, and Tara Whitten. Good start by the Canadians. Nicely into formation.
Not so much with the Americans. A bit of a gap opening up, but just seems to settling down now.
Oh, interesting. I didn't quite see who was first out of the box, so to speak.
Sarah Hammer, I know, was leading out the Americans.
Well, that'll be it.
I think it was actually Tara Whitten, I think, who was leading out the Canadians. But
that'll be why everybody was trailing in the wake of, with Hammer going out the front.
Yeah.
Well, they've pegged back to 0.2 of a second. They were 0.6 of a second down at the first time check. So the United States of America have pulled back 0.2 of a second. Will they do the same or similar on the next time check? Here we go. The Canadians are over first. No is the answer to that. In fact, they've lost 0.2 of a second. Well, that is a turn up for the books. Using that end banking really well at the end of each lap. The Canadians. If you see a wide shot of it, you'll get to see it very, very clearly. Well, it's stable at the moment after a third distance. Let themselves get up the banking and then use it to slingshot themselves back down again into formation. Wow, this really is a yo-yo. Absolutely yo-yo. The Americans, I think it's every time that Hammer gets on the front, Jamie, that they start to peg something back again and then it slips back out.
I think that's what you're seeing. There's obviously a difference in ability or strength here between the riders within the team, so therefore when the strong one gets to the front, you're going to see the time come down, and then when someone else's turn, the time sometimes may creep back up again. So
the Canadians have overturned the advantage that the Americans have overturned the advantage the Canadians had, and now it's Canada having to do the chasing. But if they're riding to a quotes schedule, then maybe maybe there's something they could do about it, but the Americans at the moment now have the upper hand. 0.6 of a second down with 1 kilometer to go. And the United States of America, having trailed over the first kilometer and a half, have now pulled back the gap. And the question is, can they sustain it? Or is there something left in the bag of Canadian tricks? Oh, there is, because they've really narrowed that gap now. And it's now 0.02 of a second in the space of 500 meters. That's a terrific bit of riding by the 3 Canadian girls. You have to ask yourself, Jamie, whether the Americans have just managed, I think they have, they're managing to pull themselves to pieces now. Look, that's Hammer going on the front, and she's absolutely destroying everybody else. That's not a good move, and she should know better than that.
She should do. I mean, she should know that she's in better form or has better ability than the other riders, and therefore she might need to just tone it down a little bit. She's pulling such a big gap there, which is hurting the rest of the team.
She should really realise that. The Canadians are going to take the gold medal, and the 2 Americans who are chasing Sarah Hammer must be either A, furious, or B, incredibly disheartened. Here comes Canada. They take the victory. 1.1 seconds is the gap over the United States of America. Gold for Canada. That's terrific for them. Silver for the United States of America, but it all went to pieces with clearly a mismatch in ability. Well, it's not so much a mismatch in ability, it's a mismatch in the ability to work as a team. You can have one stronger rider, or 2 stronger riders, but you still got to work as a team.
Exactly. It's a team event, it's a team effort. Poor communication there, perhaps.
A bit of a turn up for the books, really, and when they pegged the advantage back as well, clearly Sarah Hammer saw the advantage slipping away again from them and decided to try and up the pace a little bit, but it wasn't just a little bit, it just shelled the other 2 out the back immediately in the space of a half a lap, I might add, which I suppose goes to show her class as an individual pursuiter. So gold then goes to Canada. Laura Brown, Stephanie Ruder and Tara Whitten take the gold medal for Canada. Silver goes to the United States of America. Dotsie Bausch, Sarah Hammer and Lauren Tomeo. And they're pretty pleased, I would say.